Hi, I'm Kat and I play Red. Now at Spiel we obviously hear about the big releases and the big companies, but within the 7-8 halls we're at now, there's all sorts of hidden gems tucked away in the corner, and we're going to look at one of them today. So thank you, Roman, for showing us this game. The game is Phraya. This is from DMZ Games, designed by Alberta Milan. Let's have a look at how it plays. Set in the Chao Phraya River in Bangkok, Thailand, the century-old floating market swarms with merchants moving from one stall to another in their own boats. Phraya is a worker movement game with commodity speculation, deck building and pick up and deliver mechanisms. Players do business on a floating market, trying to get the best prices, making offerings in the temples to win Buddha's favour, or even approaching the king's barge. Now our main board here is modular, so you're going to pop the 4 pieces randomly and use these little connectors to join them. And we're going to start with the king's barge in the centre of the board. Now, the important thing to note with the king's barge is when he moves from crossroads to crossroads, never between buildings, always in the middle. So he starts there. We've got the tracks board here. Our card market is here, our merchant here, and the cost of our 4 goods. So we have meat, fish, starfruit and vegetables, and then the starting price we just have marked with a cube. Each player starts with their boat, and in starting player order, you're going to pop your boat on one of the edge spaces of the board. Now, I want to go here. Let's pop the orange player here. And then in reverse player order, all players get to place a stall on one of the marked spaces on the board. So orange place their boat second, they place their stall first, and they're going to go here. And I'm going to place my stall here. The start player begins the game with 8 coins. Second place gets 9 and so on. The basket tiles here have been drawn randomly from the bag, and the order tiles are done in order, funnily enough. They're marked from level 1 to 4, so we begin the game with level 1 orders. When we run out of 1s, we're going to refill them with 2s, and so on. Each turn consists of 3 phases. The first thing you're going to do is play a card from your hand, then you're going to move your boat, and then you're going to interact with any stalls and possibly the royal barge. All players start the game with a deck of 5 identical cards. Each turn you're going to choose one, play it from your hand in front of you into your discard pile, do the actions on the card, move your boat, interact with the stalls, and play will continue like that. You will be drawing or buying more cards during the course of the game, and when you buy them, they're going to come straight into your hand. Now, there are primarily 2 different types of cards. We have the cards with the blue figure here, which is going to be market manipulation. So let's have a look at the merchant. Now, these cards allow you to move the merchant in either direction, clockwise or anti-clockwise, and then increase or decrease the cost of goods appropriately. So if I were to play this card, I could move the merchant 2 spaces, increase the cost of one good by 1, and decrease the price of another good by 3. So here we'd be looking at fish and starfruit. So I'm going to move the starfruit down by 2, I can't move it 3, and the fish up by 1. So these are all the same principle, and a lot of the cards in the market are. The other sort of cards we have are ones that move the king's barge. As I said earlier, when the king's barge moves, he moves on the intersections rather than the waterways. So here, he'd move 2 spaces, so I'm going to move him 1, 2. And then the next thing he does is he's going to give flower tokens to any stalls that are in the surrounding area to him. So in this case, my stall would get me 1 flower token. And there's a little reminder on the card here just to show you that. So, flower token to stalls. The one card that looks slightly complicated, but if you've ever played Concordia, this might be a bit familiar. You're going to move the king's barge exactly as before, give out flower tokens. Then you're going to draw up all the cards from your discard pile, and you're going to get 1 coin for every card. However, that is when your turn finishes, so you don't get to move your boat and you don't get to do any actions. So let's have a look at a few actions and then we can have a look at what the stalls do. So I am actually going to use this card as a start. I'm going to move the merchant 2 spaces. I'm going to decrease starfruit and increase fish. I then get to move my boat by up to 2 spaces. At the start of the game, I have 2 rowers on my boat, which means I can move 2 spaces. Over the course of the game, I may well get more rowers, which will give me more movement. But for now, 2. I'm actually going to go here. So that would be 1 space, 2 space. Now, when you move your boat, you can move through other players. You can't finish on the same spot as them, but you can move through them. However, you cannot move through the king's barge. So now I'm there, I get to interact with the stalls around me. You can only perform each action once. The first thing I want to do is buy some starfruit. Now, because it's a good, I could buy or sell as many as I wanted of that same kind. However, I only have enough space on my boat to store 1 for now. Unless I bought the basket, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to pay 1 coin and take my starfruit and pop it on my boat. Now, there are 4 types of goods stands, 1 for each of the goods available. So all of these work in the same way. You can buy or sell goods of those types. Next to me here, we have a basket stand. Now, if I wanted to, I could spend 5 coins to take that basket, let's pretend I do, turn it over and pop it in my boat, and this would give me more storage for the rest of the game. You're then going to draw another tile from the bag and refill the spot. But I don't think I want to do that just yet. The other action you can take with the basket spot is to buy new rowers. Now these will cost you 1 meat or 1 fish. You simply take a rower tile, pop it on your board, and your boat will have extra movement for the rest of the game. But I don't want to do that for now. We then have our restaurant spaces. Now these have orders on them. Basically, if you land here, you can pay the goods, gain the coins shown, so in this case it would be 10, take the tile and pop it in front of you, and you'd get 3 points at the end of the game. Anything with this pink star represents points. You then refill them from the stack. Now these are actually numbered 1 to 4. We start with the number 1s on the board and we restock in order. So we'd go, once we finish the 1s, we'd put the 2s out, then the 3s and the 4s. The scribe spaces here allow you to buy cards. So you can buy cards either with flower tokens or coins. You're going to buy 1 card at a time, place it in your hand and move the rest up. So even if you can afford multiples, you can still only buy 1 per turn. We then have the administration spots here with the black stool symbols. You can pay 10 coins to place another one of your stools. Now, these have in-game benefits and will give you end-of-game points. So again, we spoke about the King's Barge moving and giving you flower tokens. So obviously, more stands on the board give you more chances to gain those. Owning stalls is going to give you flower tokens when the King's Barge moves adjacent. If another player uses your stall, you're going to get a flower token. You will also get victory points at the end of the game for having stalls. Also, running out of stalls is one of the end game triggers. There are actually 3, but that is one of them. So that is the administration space. Then lastly, we have the temple space here. Here, you can make an offering to the temple. So let's have a look at the temple track. You're going to basically offer one of these resources and some flower tokens. You must start on this side and work your way up, and these will get you end game points again, and also contribute towards your end game triggers. If you end your turn adjacent to the King's Barge, you can also interact with the King and you can make an offering to the King, which is this track here. Now these don't have to be done in order. You can do these in any order you like, and you're simply going to give one of the things shown on the track, so coins, flowers or resources. You're going to pop your disc on whichever one you give and you're going to get a King's Favour token. Now these can be used in a variety of ways as it shows you on the board here. You can either use them when making a temple donation, and it means you don't have to play the flower tokens. You can use them when buying resources to gain 1 free resource, or you can take a basket or a rower at no cost. So these King tokens are also rather nice. So let's carry on my turn. I was here, I bought a star fruit, I played my card, I moved, I bought my star fruit, and that would be the end of my turn. It would then be the orange player's turn. Now, I've kind of got a mission that I want to do, so let's have a look. I'm going to move the King's Barge 2 spaces, and I'm going to move him 1, 2. So at that point, I would get a flower token because my stall, oops, it's a very drunk driver, my stall is adjacent, so I'd get a flower token. I'm going to pop that there. And I'm going to move, I know what I want, I'm going to move here. And I'm going to buy a meat. That is going to cost me 6 coins. So already I've only got 1 money left. So money always seems to be quite tight in this game. I can then choose to make an offering to the temple. Actually, I'm going, because the star fruit cost is low and I have my 1 coin left, I'm actually going to pay 1 starfruit and 1 flower token and pop my disc there, which will give me some points at the end of the game. So next I have a plan. I have a cunning plan, honest. I am going to play this guy. Now I don't move the merchant. I'm going to move the price of that fish up because it doesn't bother me at the moment and I want to keep this starfruit low. I'm then going to move the boat to my boat 2, 1, 2, and I'm going to buy a starfish with my last remaining coin. Now I do have a grand plan here, I promise you. I'm going to play this. I'm going to move the merchant. I'm going to move fish down 1, vegetables up 2. I'm going to move here and I'm going to complete this restaurant order, which is 1 meat and 1 starfruit. So I'm going to pop those back, take the tile, and I'm going to gain 12 coins. So there we go, 12 coins. And then I'm going to refill using the last level 1 tile. Now I've got all that money, I could choose to place another stall, but I'm going to hang on to my money for now because I've got no resources. At this point, my last card is this, so I can move that there. Again, my stall's there, so I'm going to get a flower. Now, the orange player is actually blocked at this point because, as I said before, you can't move through the king's barge. So for their next turn, they would have to play a card that moved the barge so that they could move their boat, because you must move your boat every turn. So I would then go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards, take 5 coins, and all my cards come back in my hand. Play will continue in this way until 2 of the 3 endgame triggers are met. The 3 conditions that trigger the game end are: the royal tithe is full. So if one of these rows is completely full, that's 1 trigger. If there is a disc in the last block on any of these rows for the temple track, or if a player places their last stall. So those are the 3 things, and 2 of those 3 have to happen, and then game ends immediately and you're going to go into endgame scoring. So once the game has finished, the first thing you're going to do is sell any and all goods you have for the market value. So I have 2 fish, that's 18. Put them in there, give me 20. I'll put 2 back. I have 1 meat for 9. 1 starfruit for 2. And 1 vegetable for 3 points. So 1, 2, 3. You're going to sort out your cards because some of these will have end game scoring on. So these are my starting cards and these are the ones that are going to score me. So I'm just going to put them there for now. We have a handy dandy score pad. Do like a good score pad. The first thing you're going to score is coins, and you're going to add up, what have I got? 1, 2, 3, 30, 40, 45, 49. I'm going to get 1 point for every 5 coins. So in this case, I'd get 9 points. You're then going to get points for the temple track. You're going to get the number of points indicated at the bottom for each offering. So I'd get 2 for each of these vegetables. In fact, let's go from top to bottom like it does here. I'd get 5 points for each meat. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'd get 25. I'd get no points for fishes, 3 for my starfruit, and 6 for my vegetables. You're then going to gain points if you have the majority in each of these areas. So I've got 2, 3, 4, 5 to oranges 3. So I'd get 10 points for having the majority there. However, oh no, I've got that 1, 1, 2, 3. I'd get 7 for that and 4 for that last section. If you lack a disc in any of the sections, you're going to take a penalty. So we're both in this area, so we're good. We're both in that one. However, orange would get -2 points for not being in that last section there. So you're going to pop those bonuses for majorities and penalties here. Then we're going to look at the King's chart. Now, if you are the player with the most points in the King's chart, you're going to get 12 points. And if you have the second highest, you're going to get 6. So what are we at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 5. So I would get 12 points and orange would get 6 points. You're also then going to get a bonus for having a disc in each area. So I've only actually got the 1 set of 3, so I'd get 8 points for that, and orange would get 8 points. Yeah, neither of us got 2 sets, so we're going to get 8 points for each set. You're then going to get points for your restaurant tiles. So all of the orders you've collected over the game, so that'd be 12, 19, 24, 33, 37, and 9, 46. So I'd pop 46 points here. Then you're going to get points for your market cards. So this one here is going to give me 2 points for every disc in the temple track. 3, 4, 5, 6, and I have 9. So that card will get me 18 points. This card gets me 3 points for every stall in the meat area. I think I've only got 1. Sadly, I've only got the 1, so I'd get 3 points. This one actually counts towards the board. So this card here actually counts as a meat stand. So I'd actually get an extra 3 points from that card. So I'd get 6 total. You're then going to calculate the majority of player stalls in each type of good. And that's where these cards come in, because this means I'm going to have 2 meat stalls. But the handy dandy score pad has vegetables first. So let's have a look. I have got 2 vegetables. Orange has just the 1. So I would get 14 points and they would get 7. I don't know if this is... No, it's not here. It's just in the rule book here. We have a handy little chart for this. And you're going to go through and do each resource. So, starfruit, orange has 1. 1, yes, and I have none. So in this case, orange would get 12 points. And you're going to do that for each type of goods. You're then going to add up all the totals, and the player with the most points is the winner. If you've got a tie, that is when the royal favours will come in. If there's a tie, the player with the most royal favours is the winner. Phraya is really nice. There's definitely elements of other games. I referenced Concordia earlier. There's elements of Century Spice Road. There's elements of all sorts of games, but it doesn't actually play like any of them. I think this was on Kickstarter. If it was, I missed it. It was right up the back on the side of Hall 3 at Essen, and we found it and we demoed it, and I enjoyed it. It's really nice. For a small company, the components are really nice quality. Now, the metal coins were an extra. We all like metal coins. However, the little trays and the little shaped tokens were standard issue, which for a little indie game is really nice. There's loads of routes to scoring, and there's not too much punishment. There's only punishment from the temple track. So there's lots of stuff you can do. It's very much one of those games where you need to just sort of potter around, do things and see how it works. We've got some nice variation with the fact the boards are double-sided and can be mushed up. The baskets obviously are random, and there is actually a variant on the other side where you choose random baskets to begin with, and the number of coins depends on the baskets you have and stuff. So there is a different variant for the boats as well. There's a lot to do and never enough time. And honestly, those are my favourite type of game. The play's fairly simple, so it's simple enough to get people started, but there's a lot to do and there's a lot going on. So once you've got behind the basics, you're off and running, and you're going to just do some stuff and pray for the best, really. It's available now. DMZ Games, Phraya. Check it out, including the ladybird that's walking up the side of this box. We seem to have an influx of them today. There she is. See, even the ladybirds like it. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, click like and subscribe. And I'm watching out the corner of my eye because I don't want a ladybird in my face. See you next week. Bye.